Well, good morning and welcome once again to New Thought Talk. I am your host, the Reverend Steve Walling from the Spiritual Awareness Center located in beautiful Madera, California. I hope you're enjoying this wonderful Saturday morning. This weekend is Memorial Day weekend, and in celebration of that, I have a very special guest that's going to join me. The purpose and the intention of this show is to showcase the philosophy of what we call New Thought, religious science, science of mind, divine science, or unity, or various other names. But it doesn't even have to have a name. And people that take these various truth principles and they put them into practice in their lives, they create lives that are empowered and empowering. They create things in their lives that are just incredible. And my guest this morning is a woman who has done that. Her name is Sheila Boyd. She is an artist, and if you look at the background that is behind me this morning, she is the artist that did that. And we're going to go into depth as how that came about. But first, let me introduce, this is my guest, Sheila Boyd. Sheila, welcome to the show this morning. I am glad that you're here.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, great. This is a great day. And of course, I've known you for many years, and I know your story because I watched it unfold. But our viewers today, they don't know your story. They don't know how it is that you came to this place in your life. So why don't you share with us a little bit about how Sheila became the Sheila that is sitting in front of me today?
Well, it was quite a journey. I have to start with saying that I love the quote that I am truly a spiritual being having a physical experience. And having the opportunity to choose a path that is of my making and of my choice. And out of all the things I could have chosen, I chose to be an artist to express in a visual format. And I have to tell you that road has been a long journey. My parents and mentors have said, you're crazy, you could be a scientist, you could be a zoologist. My passion is animals. Why choose an artist? They starve. Well, that's a program tape, and I'm here to tell you that anybody that has a passion can make it work.
That is part of our understanding now. I know years ago we shared we watched the movie The Secret together and those, a lot of that stuff. And sometimes people, they look at that and they say, well, that's very jingoistic. I mean, that really doesn't have a truth and reality. But I know for a fact your reality tells a much different story, Sheila. You are an artist, and I knew you back in the day when you were really beginning to build up your profession. But today you've taken it to a whole different level. What was it within you that inspired you, that drove you when people were saying, maybe you should be a scientist, or maybe you should be this or that or the other? What was it that carried you through, that brought you to where you're at today?
Well, I have to say that I've really dove into some of the material that was being presented, and I really took it to heart. I hired a life coach to help me get through this.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the stuff I was hearing in a lot of these programs, especially The Secret, the Law of Attraction, you really had to define your purpose, you had to define your passion, and most people I talk to just haven't got a clue what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really had to reach out and do some internal work, meditation, and really dig. And I found that the only person in my way was myself.
Amazing.
Yes. I was afraid to come out and say, I just want to paint animals, that's what I want to do. And it took a life coach to say, why aren't you doing that?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, because it's silly, I can't make a living. And we got into, well, what's so silly about that?
Mm-hmm.
And then I started taking pictures. I got a camera, I took pictures of animals, I started painting them, people started buying them, and I started this passion up, and I've painted the entire veterinary clinic up in Oakhurst.
That's a very special mural, because one of the images on on that wall in that clinic is a dog that was once my wife and mine. He's no longer with us, but he's there. But he's not there by himself. Who's he with?
Well, he's with my dogs, Max and Lucy. They were buds.
They were.
And my dogs are no longer on this earth plane, but they certainly are over in that Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah. You know, that if you happen to ever get to what's the name of the veterinary clinic there?
It's Hoof and Paw
Hoof and-
Veterinary Clinic.
Hoof and Paw Veterinary Clinic in Oakhurst, and you walk in the door, you're going to see some incredible, just really beautiful animals in various poses. And Sheila, you know, we did get a chance to stop in when you were painting that. And the thing is, you've mentioned passion a couple of times. Tell me your concept of passion, how you break it down, what drives you, you know, that fires you up.
Well, I refer to passion as my rocket fuel to success.
Okay.
Absolutely rocket fuel. And the way you get your rocket fuel to success, I kind of go backwards with that. I have to find something that ticks me off or is an adversary in order to get mad enough about it to be able to take an action with it that says, no, I really want to do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
And that becomes a passion. And my coach, Gail Weber from the Bay Area,
Mm-hmm.
helped me define that passion. Just briefly, a short story, she asked me for a commitment, and I said that I would honor that.
Mhm.
Part of that commitment was not taking on anything new while we were in process of working with her.
Yeah.
So I proceeded out and I got a puppy. I rescued a puppy out of a box in front of Rayleigh's Oakhurst. And I burst into tears when I talked to her. I broke my commitment. I brought on something new and huge. But that commitment, that passion for that animal and rescuing that animal overrode the commitment or anything else in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so she said, let's go with that.
There you go.
And I define that as rocket fuel. It was passion.
So, and I'm trying to think of the right words to phrase this, but you know, in the puppy's name is Shanala, which I happen to know. She's a
Yes.
beautiful, beautiful dog. But in your acquiring Shanala, you broke a commitment.
I did.
Now, some people would see that as failing, as not living up. But what did your life coach tell you about that? I mean, how did that work out for you?
She said, let's run with that, and she viewed it as a breakthrough. And she had me then talk about it and write about it and asked me what was so strong within me that I would break a commitment to her, which is taboo.
Mm-hmm.
And I cried through the whole process. I sobbed, and I said, I have to have animals around me. They are my love and my life. And so she took that off, and we started exploring that, and I wrote many things, many journals about that passion.
So, as a life coach in your life, what types of things besides making your commitment to her, what types of things in your life did she have you focus on?
She had me focus on what my purpose is
Mm-hmm.
and what my dreams are, where I wanted to take my life. She gave me focus.
Mm-hmm.
She grounded me. And she did this with her dream coaching series because I am a spiritual person, and the dream coaching was a perfect match for me, and visualization. So she had me visualize, and she really had me set on purpose.
So, and these are some of the tools that in our philosophy that we utilize. You mentioned today meditation,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll talk a little more about that later. You mentioned visualization, which visualizing the end result of whatever it is that you want in your life is so very important. Journaling to help keep you focused on a daily
Absolutely.
basis. Seeing the end result as, like in goal setting, and I know that you are a goal setter. As a matter of fact, I'm familiar with some of your goal programs. And all that, you put it together, you packaged it. How long ago was it that you first really seriously started on this journey?
Ooh, boy. I would say that I was in my teens.
Okay.
And it was very unfocused and it was very rebellious.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go to Chenard's. My folks wanted me to go to LA Art Center.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted me to commercialize it. I wanted to be a free spirit. So we compromised. I didn't go to school at all. I took a job.
You
and
took a
I
job.
I trained as a tech illustrator and I was in the corporate world.
Mm-hmm. And somehow you ended up in Oakhurst.
I did.
And Oakhurst is a beautiful little community for all of our Central Valley viewers. I'm sure most of you are at least familiar with the name, and maybe some of you are familiar with the town as you've passed through it on your way to Yosemite, but it's not exactly the hub of industry, and we're going to get to this as we go into the next segment. You have a very interesting story that we're going to unfold later today about being in the Oakhurst area and ending up having as you look behind us today, you see this mural, and in the next segment, which will be coming up very shortly, we're going to be talking about this mural, and there's a whole group of them that belong with this, and they're in a very, very special location. They are located at the Fresno Veterans Hospital. And today, and this being part of Memorial Day weekend, this truly is an amazing story, how the philosophy of knowing what you want, having the passion, having the heart, having the commitment, and then following the steps and trusting in spirit to unfold and open things up for you, and living in that trust is really great. But we were talking, and there's one thing I want to get. You mentioned as we were talking, I don't remember if it was today or the other day, about layers being peeled back as you were working with your life coach. What was it that was being peeled back, and when you got to that one point, and I'll let you put it in your own words, what was that jewel that you found there?
It was called self-worth. And that was the P of the princess and the P at the end of the bottom of the mattress. That was the bump. And I think what it boiled down to is just process of gathering information and then peeling back that which you don't need is part of your life journey. And Gail was successfully able to help me peel that back and find out at what point in my life I felt worthless. And at what point in my life I planted that false seed and that I danced around that, and it showed up in my life process as defensiveness, negative attitude, no gratitude. People are after me, they're going to criticize me, they're going to judge me. All these negative things center around that little seed called worth. And when she nailed that, and we started talking about the puppy. That puppy was a very significant part of my life. Then we started seeing how very worthy I was. I started seeing how very worthy I was and what I could do with that worth.
You are a divine being,
I am.
expressing in a physical experience that we call life.
Yes.
There is nowhere where God is not. That means you are at some level, some way, a manifestation of that divine. You are more than just worthy. You are enough. And when you're enough, it's always good.
It is.
And what a powerful thing to discover, and what a powerful tool to put forth and to use in your life, because truly, each and every one of us, we are enough. And on that note, it's time for us to segue into a commercial. So we'll see you when we get back.
Hi, Bill Carmichael here, manager of Valley Gold Mine Fresno. I'd like to tell everybody that we've relocated to the Tower District at 1212 North Van Ness Avenue. If you have any broken or unwanted jewelry you'd like to get top dollar for, give us a call at 559-970-8660. Also, we're on the web at www.valleygoldminefresno.com. If you're the type that likes to entertain at home, we have some gold parties that we can tell you about. And also, if you have children in schools and they have trouble raising funds, we have a great fundraiser that works as well. Once again, my number is 559-970-8660. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jason Gobelli, and I'd like you to take just a minute and ask yourself a couple of questions. Are your needs being met in the real estate business? Are you getting all the latest technology that you need to be productive in this market? Are you getting the benefits that you deserve? Do you have enough leads? Are you truly making enough money for all that hard work and time you've been putting in? If not, you might want to give me a call and we can set up a confidential interview. At Connect Realty, we're one of the fastest growing companies around. There's tons of tools and benefits for agents, like freerealtor.com showcase listings, free unlimited virtual tours, free websites with nationwide IDX. We have free virtual back office, free compliance coordinators so you can be paid right away. There's health insurance, life insurance, and the best part is the commissions start from 80% and go to 95%. And we have one of the best retirement plans in the whole industry. Now, I cannot possibly go over everything in just this short minute. Go to the website, careers@connectrealty.com, or feel free to call us at the toll-free number, or you can even call my personal line, 559-307-0550. I look forward to talking to you. Thanks.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Well, here we are back today for our second segment. This is Memorial Day weekend, and as a result of that, I have a guest that has had a very interesting relationship with the Fresno Veterans Hospital, and we're going to talk about it this segment. If you look behind me on the screen, you will see a different image than our first shot, and we're going to actually go through some. My guest, once again, is Sheila Boyd. Sheila, now I want you to tell me a little bit. We'll get to how you got to the VA hospital, but right now I want you to tell me a little bit about the process that took place as you were creating these images. Tell the folks how many images they are, where they're located, and if they'd like to go look at them, how they can find them.
Well, if you go to the VA hospital in Fresno on Clinton and I think it's Fresno Street, it's in the stairwell, and it's called the Stairwell to Wellness. And there are 9 murals. They start in the sub-basement and they go all the way to the very top floor. And the whole concept behind this was in honoring our vets, not by taking them back into a remembrance scene of where they'd been, but what they actually fought for, and that's for our freedom and for these beautiful, iconic places. And because the hospital's in California, we kept the scenes to California. We certainly have enough to draw from. So the concept was starting at the sub-basement, which is, I believe, the image that's behind you.
Yeah.
That's at Black Chasm. It's 200 feet below the surface of the earth.
Go ahead and pull that up front, Mike.
And starting in the sub-basement at 200 feet below the surface, as you climb the stairwell, you actually climb an elevation, and each iconic scene then becomes a next level up or a raise in elevation.
Okay, so we're looking at this cave right here, okay? And the cave is where?
I believe it was a reference taken from the Black Chasms.
Black Chasm? Okay. And you've put a spelunker in there, a cave climber or explorer or whatever. How big are these images?
These images are approximately 12.5 feet high and 9.5 feet wide. They were done in the stairwell, so I only had a 5-foot platform to work from front of the wall to the stairwells, and 9.5 feet in the width going across. We also had to fit in all of my equipment plus commercial scaffolding to get to these things. So as you're standing on the platform and you're looking 12.5 feet up, it becomes a bit overwhelming.
This whole process, when you had to create these, now there's 9 images altogether, was it?
9 images and the dedication wall.
And the dedication wall. When you had, how did you how did you envision? How did you come up with? Where did you go to get this idea for this?
It was a collaboration between the administrator of the hospital and a gal in pharmacy that was my right arm.
Mm-hmm.
And we shared these ideas. We were all on the same page with the vision of what we wanted to do. We came up with ideas, and then I went back and I sketched them out. Jeff, my husband, built a faux wall for me, 12 and a half by 9.5 feet wide, so I could actually visually see these at the size they needed to be. And then I went back, every drawing was approved, and then it was the process of actually getting them to the wall.
Okay, let's go to the next image, Mike. Okay, now this is a floor up from the cave, and tell me a little bit about this particular image.
Well, this is one of my favorite ones. It's I drew it from my remembrance of Anacapa Island in the Channel Islands. I was raised a diver, so my passion, of course, is there. And even though these are iconic scenes, I did get a chance to stick in some of my favorite wildlife, which in this case is a little harbor seal. They're very playful. So the depth is about 35 feet below the surface. We have a diver down there who was, my model was Jeff. These were very fun for me to do. If I needed a position, I'd grab somebody. Usually it was Jeff. He's holding a camera, which in my photo shoot was actually a pencil sharpener. So we had a lot of fun doing these. I got to research, again, what wildlife lives under the ocean in that area, so I made them just about as real as I could manage to get them.
And as you're going through this process, do you ever have times where you had doubts or fears or issues that you had to overcome?
Funny you should mention that. Every day.
Okay, so let's relate this to life, because every day we have issues in life. Every day we've got things going on that can present us with setbacks or make us want to throw up our hands or give in to fear. How did you deal with this? You manifested quite a project here. How did you deal with this?
The word overwhelm comes to mind, and the way you deal with it is, first of all, I breathe. I breathe, I center myself, I balance. Sometimes I burst into tears. It's okay. Everything is just really okay. But it's a process. And I have spent 23 years working with an airbrush, and I have gathered my knowledge. So it's all about gathering your information. It's all about laying a firm foundation. The foundation I laid was, it's overwhelming standing on a 5-foot platform looking straight up. There has to be a way around this. That's where the faux wall came in. Drawing it out, sketching it out on paper, breaking it down, taking it into baby steps so that each process became a smaller hurdle. And those hurdles were easier to jump and easier to get over.
So instead of going to fear, we put the elephant out in the room and we decided how to eat it one bite at a time, basically.
Basically, that's what it is. And each hurdle, if I was really stumped on, well, how do I get this in proportion, and only being able to back up 5 feet? Well, you call your support team, and Jeff is a great support team for me. He says, well, we'll build a wall, and then you can step back and you can see what that looks like. And I use tools. After all these years of using an airbrush, I have projectors, I have cameras, I have tools of the trade. Everything that it takes, anything that it takes, creatively or instilled, that I already have with me to be able to do this.
Okay, Mike, let's see. We'll go to the beach image next. So, you're working along, your things are going along, and all of a sudden, no pun intended, but you hit the wall. What happened What would you do in the now? I know you were doing your work at night, weren't you there at the VA or early in the mornings or?
Yeah, well, I stayed very flexible. I think part of the success of the mural was understanding the staff's need to be able to run the stairwell and not get hooked up on hoses and wires. Their staff was incredible, remarkable people. We even had electrical units hanging from the ceiling that were dropped all the way down through the center of the stairwell to whatever level I was working on. I chose to work at night so that the traffic on the stairwell wouldn't be blocked, especially in the upper levels where it was more critical. The nurses need to get blood from one level to the other. The elevators were too slow. So it was about flexibility and just working with people. And I just love the people there.
That's great. Now, this particular one that we're looking at now, be up here. What is that scene that we're looking at?
That is a jogging scene on San Simeon. That's the third wall mural up. We've now raised in elevation. As you climb the stairwell, we are then also raising in elevation. So we're at sea level at this one. Each scene depicts an activity. Because this is the Stairwell to Wellness, we wanted to present all the variations of activities that people could get into, and then we'd have the staff running the stairwell. So this one is jogging. There's children playing in the ocean. There's a baby down in the very front corner that is stamping in a mud puddle. The intent on this, these are all intent-driven, on my part anyway, with the activities, the fun, all ages, all ethnic groups. Everyone can enjoy these, everyone can participate, and it just presents ideas on all kinds of different ways for healthy activities and enjoying the fruits of our veterans' labor.
That's really tremendous. I think it's about time. We're probably ready to take our next commercial break, so we're going to cue it up, and we'll see you back.
Today's program was brought to you by the National Federation of Independent Business, the voice of small business.
Hi, Bill, manager of Valley Gold Mine Fresno. I'd like to tell everybody that we've relocated to the Tower District at 1212 North Van Ness Avenue. If you have broken or unwanted jewelry you'd like to get top dollar for, give us a call at 559-970-8660. Also, we're on the web at www.valleygoldminefresno.com. If you're the type that likes to entertain at home, we have some gold parties that we can tell you about. And also, if you have children in schools and they have trouble raising funds, we have a great fundraiser that works as well. Once again, my number is 559-970-8660. Thank you.
Mike Briggs Properties has a very special historic property for sale that can be used as a home or as a business. This classic California craftsman historical home is located in the Tower District, Fresno High area. The interior ambiance displays a heyday of craftsman aesthetics, substance, strength, symmetry, and casual grace. Elegantly appointed mahogany and oak structural elements integrate form and function in a harmonious flow from room to room in this two-story, 4,500-foot home. The property also includes a nearly 800-foot two-bedroom apartment above the garage. This property is well suited for a professional office type of business or for a large family or combined living and workspace. The lot included with this property is park-sized with plenty of room for expansion or as a parking lot big enough to support a commercial business. For more information on this property, call Mike Briggs Properties at 486-6758. Mike Briggs Properties, 486-6758.
Hey guys, are you watching CentralValleyTalk.com? Are you under 30 or under 30 at heart? Because if you are, you should be watching my show, Basically Branded. 10:30 p.m. Monday and Wednesday nights. Mark your calendars, you guys, because it's chaos here on Monday and Wednesday nights. We have animals, reptiles, cheetahs, actors, singers. It's chaos. And you guys need to be watching, because it might sound like I'm describing Barnum and Bailey Circus, but I'm actually describing my web show, Basically Brandon, Monday and Wednesday nights, 10:30 p.m.
Today's program was brought to you by the National Federation of Independent Business, the voice of small business.
Well, welcome back to our third segment. My guest today is the artist Sheila Boyd. Presently, we're talking about the system of murals that she did for the Fresno Veterans Hospital. And what you're looking at behind us now is a mural of kayakers. Sheila, tell me about this particular mural.
This one was a shot that I took up at Lake Tenaya.
Okay.
I do kayak. These are friends of mine that I used as references, which I did in a lot of my murals. It's another activity. I think Lake Tenaya is around the 8,000-foot level, so we're climbing up pretty high in the stairwell at this point. And it just put us out on the water, and at the lower part you can actually see through the water with the kayak coming into the picture, and this was an absolute joy for me.
So you include, and I have a purpose in asking this, you include friends and individuals you know in some of your artwork.
I carry a camera with me, and when I was doing this project, I wore a camera on me.
Okay, now one of the things I wanted to ask you about, and we talked a little bit about it during the break, there was some times
There were.
when you kind of hit your wit's end on some of this in the middle of the day. How did you transcend that? This is not something that you can, you can't be a temperamental artist and throw your brushes down and walk off the thing. You've got a commitment to finish. How did you work through issues when they came up?
Well, I'm glad you reminded me about this, because when I hit the wall, I would take off and I'd go lock myself in the ladies' room, and I would just have to sit there for a minute, and I would just breathe. And as I breathed, I would start visualizing where I was going with this. And I can troubleshoot much faster in my mind if my brain is quiet. So meditation is a big part of what I do. And that's opening the crown, bringing the light through, allowing spirit to talk through me and work through me. And there's been times when I didn't think I could function. And I asked for spirit to work through me. And when I went back, miraculously, my airbrushes worked, paint was flowing, my hands could do no wrong, and I just put on some soft music and just flowed through it.
So, Mike, we'll go to the hiking scene now. There is a presence and a power
Oh, yes.
in the universe, and we can call on. That's one of the principles that we share, that we teach, that there is a presence, there is a power in the universe, and when you can quiet your mind, you open yourself up, it is there for you, and it's always there for you. And what a powerful thing, and what an empowering thing when we put it in our lives. Now, this particular scene, this is the hikers. Why don't you tell me a little bit about this scene?
This was a great scene. This is hiking Glacier Point. My reference material happens to be Reverend Steve Walling there. We referred to him as Cowboy Man. And in looking for different subjects and different poses and stuff, I realized that I couldn't find a hiker, and I thought, oh, I have the hiking gear. This is what I do. I went and I donned myself with my hiking gear, and I gave my camera to my husband, and I said, I need to be in this position. So he took my picture. The children and the teens were found by another reference source from the VA hospital that submitted them. I was taking submissions from people. It was, like I said, it was a collaborative spirit that was going on, and people submit. We asked submissions from the VA hospital and people that work there, if you have a favorite scene, and then we take all these into consideration. So my job was to take all of these elements and make it work and put it together.
Well, you've done a wonderful job. This whole grouping of murals, and you, again, we start at the bottom, we're in a subterranean cave, and we move up, and we're going up higher and higher. And now I know that this particular one is on the 5th floor, but when we get to the very top, and Mike, you can go ahead and move that next image over. This is the image that we opened up with, and it says, "We dream, achieve," or was it, or no, love? Can you read that for me?
Live, dream, and achieve.
Live, dream, and achieve. And that is the message that you wanted to convey in this grouping of murals to these individuals that, and as we know, some of them have come back from some very horrendous duty. We appreciate them. We are able to, because of individuals like this, we are able to express our own personal philosophy in the freedom to do it without any individuals or group of individuals imposing their will or their thoughts or their consciousness on it. And that's powerful, to live, to dream, and to achieve. And so this is the system of murals that can be found at the Fresno Veterans Hospital. Mike, go ahead and slide this next image over, because this image of these tigers, what we're looking at now, is kind of the lead that led to all the images that we've been looking at previously. There is a story behind this. Spirit, God works in wonderful ways, but never accidentally.
Never accidentally.
Tell me about this particular picture and the significance of it.
This was a shot, and actually your wife, Maureen, and I were hiking, and I took pictures of Coraloo Falls, which is right here in Oakhurst on Lewis Creek. And I see tigers, so this is what I painted. And this was so personal, it went in my own home we had in Coarsegold. And so it was on my wall. I had a call from a client. She wanted to come get a trial run for her wedding makeup. I said, I'm closest to you. If I meet you at my home in Coarsegold, you're welcome. They came in. Her friend that was with her worked at the VA hospital. And she saw my tiger mural on the wall and said that. And I said, well, this is what I do also. I do wedding makeup, but I also, do murals. She handed me the phone number or the contact that I needed to call and said, call her right now. She's ready to go on vacation. I did immediately. I went down for an interview immediately, and that is how I got the job at the VA. It wasn't that simple. I had, of course, go through the whole bidding process.
Right.
It was quite a journey, but the bottom line is there are no coincidences in the universe.
And I know as you were going through this process, Sheila, that there were obstructions that came up, okay? But yet you managed to hold that vision all the way through. And those obstructions, they, one after another, seemed to either dissolve, disappear, or some resolution came about for you. And I know you had issue with materials, you had issues with the type of materials because of requirements they had.
Right. Yeah, everything needed to be fire safe. We had to pass safety, we had to get electrical. I had tons of support. The administrator of the hospital was superb. My right arm was superb at working through a lot of these obstacles, and yet all of us held these visions of what this would do in the final production for the hospital.
So you had a dream, you had an image, you believed in that image, you opened yourself up to spirit, you lived with that commitment, you followed and utilized the tools that your life coach has worked with you, the various things that kept you in a level of integrity within yourself,
Right.
a level of knowing that you are that which you are whole, perfect, and complete, you are worthy, and ultimately this great gift unfolded for the VA hospital.
It did.
You know, and I have walked those stairways, and I haven't seen everyone, but I've seen most of them, and particularly the one that I'm in.
That was a good one.
Yeah, well, we had to take some pictures, send it to the friends and families and stuff. But this image of the tigers, this was in your house in coarse gold, about. It might as well have been 1,000,000 miles away from the VA.
Right,
Nobody at the VA is going to see it. No, it's not open for public display.
right.
And yet, God, Spirit, led these people, showed up, this happened, that happened, and the next thing you know, you're sitting there in a stairwell trying to figure out how you're going to work this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And yet, every step of the way, Spirit was with you, it unfolded, and that is the power of having that consciousness. And I mean, what a wonderful thing, and what a wonderful that you were able to bring to the facility. And we're gonna. In the next segment, I've got these pictures are good. Wait till you see the next one; it really touches my heart. But we're going to do that in the next segment. But before we do that, what I want to talk about, you mentioned that this particular client came to you for makeup.
Right.
Okay, you do stuff with makeup, airbrush and stuff. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
When I started this journey of airbrushing, I decided to learn every aspect of airbrush. And I read an article in one of the airbrush magazines about 20 years ago where Dynair Airbrush Makeup was working with airbrushed makeup, running it through an airbrush. And I immediately went down there and connected with her. And it's just a wonderful media to use. I do full body, I do wedding makeup, paramedical. I was absolutely amazed at the product and the skill that this particular thing provided for me and for people. Paramedical was wonderful. People with burns and scars and flaws like that want to have an evening out free from anything. That the makeup works really well. It takes off tattoos, covers them up temporarily, takes them off. Let's be clear.
Okay.
But it is a marvelous media to use.
And that has carried you to a whole another venue.
Yes.
And you have through Dynair, that's the company, right?
Dynair Airbrush Makeup, yeah.
You have done work with some top models and programs down in the Hollywood area.
Yes.
That has I understand that has opened up some doors for you potentially for in the future work also, right?
It's paved quite a way for my whole process. I just finished a job for Heidi Klum on Top Models. It's to be aired in Germany. Very fun project, and then I'm included on doing demonstrations for Dynair. We'll be at the International Makeup Artist Trade Show, June 23rd. And that's going to be doing full body and probably working with some special effects.
Well, that should be exciting. That'll be a lot of fun. Okay, looks like it's time for us to go to our next commercial break. So we'll see you on the next side. Boy, we got a great picture for our backdrop. We'll see you then.
Mike Briggs Properties has a very special historic property for sale that can be used as a home or as a business. This classic California craftsman historical home is located in the Tower District, Fresno High area. The interior ambiance displays a heyday of craftsman aesthetics, substance, strength, symmetry, and casual grace. Elegantly appointed mahogany and oak structural elements integrate form and function in a harmonious flow from room to room in this two-story, 4,500-foot home. The property also includes a nearly 800-foot, two-bedroom apartment above the garage. This property is well suited for a professional office type of business or for a large family or combined living and workspace. The lot included with this property is park-sized with plenty of room for expansion or as a parking lot big enough to support a commercial business. For more information on this property, call Mike Briggs Properties at 486-6758. Mike Briggs Properties, 486-6758. America's Sub Shop has arrived in the Tower District. Blimpie's is the best place to get delicious sandwiches, salads, baked goods, and smoothies at reasonable prices. You won't believe the great value of Blimpie's $5 combo deals. The fresh baked bread and big bowl taste will bring you in, and the friendly service and great prices will keep you coming back. A Blimpie sandwich is great on your lunch break or as a healthy meal for the whole family. Try Blimpie's today, located directly across from the Tower Theater. We know you'll love it.
Hi, I'm Greg Rude, a local real estate agent working with London Properties. You might be thinking about buying or selling a property right now, or maybe you just have a question about real estate. I'd love to help you with that. Give me a call at 352-7716, and I can answer any questions that you might have. Maybe you've got a property that's upside down. Maybe you're interested in buying a bank foreclosure and have a question about that. Or maybe you just like someone to show you some houses that you're interested in or have a question about a particular property. Once again, give me a call. My name's Greg, 352-7716, and I'd love to help you. Thanks.
This just in. Tower District houses are selling for as little as $300 per month. If you have a job and decent credit, you can own your own home. If you can come up with a down payment, you can own a home a lot cheaper than you can rent, and your payment will never go up. Also, you could deduct most of your house payment from your income taxes. If you'd like to lock in your monthly house payment at $300 to $500 per month for the next 30 years, call Mike Briggs Properties, 486-6758. Mike Briggs Properties, 486-6758.
This segment is brought to you by Corrine Hatfield of Platinum Mortgage. If you are thinking of purchasing a new home or refinancing an existing home, call Corrine Hatfield at 917-7111.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Well, welcome back to our fourth and final segment of New Thought Talk. My guest today is airbrush artist Sheila Boyd. Now, if you'll take a look behind me here, Sheila, tell us about, this is an amazing picture. Tell us a little bit about this vehicle.
Well, this is my husband's 2008 Mustang. We had it painted once before. It didn't seem to be doing, it did well on the shows, but we needed something that was going to take it over the top. And one thing we do enjoy in our relationship is taking things over the top. He came up with the idea of turning his Mustang into a P-51 fighter plane. So he did the checkerboard on the front, and on the side you can see a tearaway. That tearaway has a Mustang horse underneath. Then there again, honoring my passion for wildlife, must have wildlife on the car.
Okay.
So we have the metal tearing away, the skin of the car tearing away. All the rivets are airbrushed on to look like it has been riveted together. On the hood scoop, which I don't know if you have a picture of that, but
No, I don't.
on the hood scoop, I did take a picture of a model, a gal that used to work for us. Beautiful, beautiful model, and that was my pinup art.
Okay.
Now they used to put that on the tails of the planes.
Right.
Being this is a conversion of a car into a plane, we put it on the hood scoop. We called that Pinup Girl Lucy Equipment.
Okay.
Spelled Lucy Quipment. So
Now, today, as we sit here, this car is where?
it is in Hollister at the air show. Jeff was honored for the car and put on the tarmac underneath a P-51 fighter plane.
Underneath the wing. That's great. And the purpose of this, now this is a show car, but the purpose of this is actually to showcase you and your husband's business, Body by Boyd's, correct?
It is.
Okay, you do custom work and various sundry of other things. Obviously, you can see the type of custom paint that can be done, and you're a very versatile artist, individual. You have taken the principles that I teach in my philosophy. You have put them to work in your life, and this is the type of thing. God answers prayer. God answers consciousness. There is a presence and a power. It is available to you, and you have definitely used it. And I want to thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you
Sheila. It's
so
been
much
great.
for having me.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure.
You betcha. Okay. So, as we close down now for the last part of our show, this is a time that I want to take and remind you all that we have here our show, and you can contribute and you can help us to keep the show on the air with your generous gifts. There is a link right on the Central Valley Talk webpage where you can contribute and make note that it's for the show. You can go to the Spiritual Awareness Center's webpage, which is maderasac.com. We have a link there for donations. And while you're at the webpage, you also have the ability to see what's going on at our center out in Madera. There is a audio archive if you'd like to hear some of the lessons that we present there in our Sundays. There's also links there, and this is something. As I go through and work with this program, my heart's intent is to really get this philosophy out to each and every one of you. That you take it, you take it to heart, and you put it to practice in your lives. And you may or may not have a center that's near you, but if you are watching this, you do have a computer, and so you can go to newthoughtlibrary.com, and they have a online library there of many of our founding members in the New Thought community, including Ernest Holmes, including the Fillmores, Judge Thomas Trower. There's many different authors there that have books online that you can read to help you learn what this philosophy is, what this empowering teaching is that you can use in your life. If you happen to be out and about and you are wondering, how is it that I can find a place where I can possibly share a experience, where I can learn, where I can get lessons. There is a findacenter.org webpage. If you go there, they have a world map. You can check, you just click on the map to what country you're from, and you can find a center that is located nearest to you. Maybe it's within traveling distance. If not, it might be within communicating distance where you can get in touch with people that can help you as you start this journey in your life, or if you're already on the journey, to help give you the resources that will empower you to continue this journey. Because for each and every one of us, as we begin to grow and we go along in our life, that we empower ourselves with these tools, with this philosophy, an amazing thing happens. We begin to change. We begin to change in so many wonderful ways. Our life begins to open up and unfold for us. That presence and power that I talk about, that divine spirit that we call God, that universal intelligence, the creative force, is available to you. You can put it to use in your life, and no matter where you're at, no matter where you're at in your life right now, you are never alone. This presence is with you. It is available to you, and you can take and you can put it into practice and change your life. And that's what we say. We say, change your thinking, change your life. It sounds easy in statement. Sometimes it takes a little bit of work, a little bit of consciousness. But I know that each and every one of you out there can do that. And as you do that, you don't have to walk away from the beliefs that you grew up with. You don't have to walk away from things that are important to your heart. But you can learn these tools, you can take them, and you can put them to use in your life. And that's a wonderful thing. And that is why we share this program. That's why these various links are available to you out there. And so I think it's about time we're probably going to close down here. So I'd like to say in closing, may the light of God surround you. May the love of God enfold you and the power of God protect you. For truly, wherever you are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, my friends, and make it a great week. Until next week, we'll see you.
CentralValleyTalk.com